Hello everybody, Justin from Playing Board Games here, and today I'm excited to share with you a recently spoiled Drowned City Rogue card that was revealed on a Fantasy Flight Games stream that they did last week to celebrate the launch of Dream Eaters. This is our first official card that we've seen from Drowned City, so I'm not going to wait you any longer. We're just going to check this out. If you have not seen it already, the card is really cool. This is Gatling Gun, a 5 experience, 5 cost rogue item, weapon, firearm, illicit asset. It takes up both hand slots, and it commits for 2 fist icons, a foot icon, and a wild icon. So it commits for like a little bit of everything. It uses 12 ammo, and as an action, spend 1 to 6 ammo, fight, you get plus X fist for this attack. The difficulty for this attack is equal to the combined fight values of all enemies at your location. Instead of its standard damage, this attack deals X damage divided as you choose among enemies at your location, where X is the amount of ammo spent as a part of this ability's cost. So, we have an effect. We have 2 effects that are kind of vaguely similar to this. They're both in the Guardian class. In the M1918 bar, it deals damage equal to the amount of ammo that you spend off of it, and the Flamethrower, which deals damage spread among enemies at your location. This is the first time, I believe, at least that I can think of off the top of my head, that rogues have an effect like this, and it is a pretty splashy effect. So, let's just say, for example, you're fighting a 3-attack enemy and a 4-attack enemy. There's a 3-attack enemy and a 4-attack enemy for the fight values at your location. That means that this test would be a 7. So if you spent 3 ammo, you would get 3 plus 3 fist on this, and also would deal 3 damage divided as you choose. If you did 6 of your ammo, which this does have 12 of, you would be able to then get plus 6 and spread 6 damage out as you see fit. This card looks really flashy on the tin, and it is very flashy. However, with effects like this, unless you're doubling the ammo through cards like Contraband in the Rogue class, or using Swift Reload, which is also luckily in the Rogue class, this is less efficient than it seems. However, I still think the card is really fun and really cool, and I think that it is going to be very successful in a variety of different decks that this can be played in. With that said, I'm not going to release a video and then only just have this one card to spoil in it. If there was like 4 cards, yeah, maybe I'd talk about them all individually. But I have an actual deck list that we're going to get into, and then I will talk about, a bit more thoughts on this card. I generally don't have too many thoughts on it like right now, but I'll save that once we get through this deck list here. So, it was, I believe, Duke who brought a Tony Morgan deck list to showcase this gun during that Fantasy Flight Games stream. So I also built a little Tony Morgan Gatling gun deck, because I think right now, until we see, for example, Michael McGlenn, we're gonna... Tony Morgan is probably the best user of Gatling gun, just when you just like strip it down to its most basics. So this gun is all about Gatling, this deck is all about Gatling gun, so that is what we're doing. Tony Morgan also has his Colts that he can take advantage of, or whatever his signature weapon is, that aren't included here, but our main goal is to find the Gatling gun and then shoot the Gatling gun over and over and over and over again. We have 2 backpacks to help us fish out our Gatling gun and the other items and supplies in our deck, which are the Liquid Courages, the Contrabands, the other backpack, the extra ammunitions, and the emergency cache, level 2, which you can see all across the board. And then also Tony Morgan's signature weapons. So this is all... where we have a good amount of search in this deck and a lot of not necessarily redundancy, but we have a lot of viable hits that are going to get us going and get us shining. This deck reasonably can be a little bit weak with weak in terms of its opening mulligan. So like it's very fragile in terms of where that is coming from. So in your opening hand, if you do play this deck as is, searching out for the Gatling gun or the backpack in your opening hand is going to be very important. If you find your backpack and no Gatling gun, odds are you'll probably hit a Gatling gun off the backpack. And if you don't, well, unfortunately, I think in the biz we call that a skill issue. But no, like, this deck is, if you want to, like, this is just, I went all in on Gatling Gun for this deck because it was the spoiler. And this is a deck that I would bring to a standalone scenario or in a campaign, no problem. Maybe I'd have some Mausers in here just to be a bit more consistent instead of the toe-to-toes, but I'm not too worried about it, honestly. Once again, it's just like, you just gotta, like, get good and draw your Gatling gun and you'll be fine. We have 2 Gregory Gries for our allies. This could have been the traditional Lonnie Ritter with, like, the trench, the leather jacket, or leather coat. I think rogues have the jacket, but I didn't want to have that compete too much with our backpack, especially because our backpack is going to be, we don't necessarily want to be playing everything in like 1, 2, 3, because like if we hit a Gatling gun and a contraband in our supplies and like maybe an extra ammunition, it's going to take us a few turns to get those out. Like you could do the Lonnie Ritter, but Gregory Gry is a good way of us just getting some more drip economy, and that works really well for Gatling gun as well, because Gatling gun is, we're going to get plus X, where X is the amount of ammo we spend, and that's going to make it really easy to succeed by whatever we bet Gregory Gry that we can. I have 2 level 1 Liquid Courages in this deck. This was mostly so we have some counterplay to Tony Morgan's Lower Brain, Lower Sanity, because we're not running on this the fail-safe security net security blanket that is Lonnie Ritter. So I went with these, and they also work really well with Backpack to help us find them. The deck list for this, by the way, is in the video description if you want to just like follow along at your own pace. 2 You Handle This ones to once again help out with our Mythos protection. There's also the 2 Take Initiatives that you can see in the second row just to the right of You Handle This one. Just below and to the right, rather, of You Handle This one, to also give us some Mythos protection. And then we go to Contraband, which is kind of like the point of the deck. So Contraband's second ability, we don't care too much about the first one. So the first one is place 2 ammo or supply tokens on an asset. Yuck. We're looking for double the number of ammo or supply tokens on that asset. So you choose an asset, and then we're going to double the tokens. If we haven't fired our Gatling gun, that's going to be 24 ammo. If we can use our second contraband before we even fire a shot, that's going to be 48 ammo. And you might be saying, Justin, that's probably Magical Christmas Land. And reasonably, it's going to somewhat be Magical Christmas Land. However, we also have our good friend Swift Reload, which is in the second row right in the middle, which is choose a firearm asset you control with fewer ammo than its uses. Place X ammo on that asset until it has ammo equal to its use's value. So this Swift Reload is just absolutely crazy in terms of its ability to reload the gun. Compare that to the extra ammunition, which we also have on the far left in that second row. Place 3 ammos on a firearm asset. It's here mostly because I want to fit with this whole Gatling gun theme. It is incredibly outclassed by Swift Reload, but we can play it, so we're gonna play it, and we're gonna have a great time playing it, is kind of like what I'm looking at with that extra ammunition. It's better to have more than less, especially when we can hit a contraband and a supply and the extra ammunition as their supplies on our backpack. Because then, if you have the cash, you could add 3 and then contraband, and then it's like you're essentially adding an additional 3 on top of that. So just some things to consider. Our economy beyond Gregory Gry is pretty simple. It's the Rogue economy with Easy Mark and Faustian Bargain. Both gives resources or cards or both. And then we also have a Glory to help us also just draw through things as well. And in a pinch, we can also commit them to Investigate. I have a Toe-to-Toe to give us some more options for when it comes to fighting, or if we can't find our gun, or if we want to save ammo on our gun. Sometimes it's going to feel really bad to shoot a Gatling gun. This happens with the M1918 bar as well. It feels bad to shoot the Gatling gun at an enemy with like 2 health and spend 2 bullets on it, when you could just like use toe-to-toe, or maybe just even punch it with a vicious blow to get that solved as well. Oh, sorry, last bit of our economy I forgot earlier was the emergency cash. So yeah, this deck is pretty standard. Honestly, this is like, you could do this for most weapon decks and just replace Gatling gun with something else. This is like a pretty basic shell for a big weapon deck that you want to just like keep reloading with Tony Morgan. So yeah, it's pretty basic. Again, this was kind of just, I didn't want to do a video just about this one card and talk for 4 minutes and been like, hey, here's Gatling gun, and you know, that's that. However, here's Gatling gun. Other uses for this, I would love to see it in someone like Skids. Skids could build a pretty similar shell that Tony deck has. And then there's also some payoff to some extra economy. You do have the lower fist that you need to work through, but then there's cards like Wolf Mask, which do a really good job at making parallel skids just have a bit more consistency in terms of getting his fist value high enough. I think there's tons of like ways that there's I saw some people on our Discord. I'm pretty sure it was Nick. This sounds like a Nick deck, which is double with Safina and extra ammunition. No, sorry, and contraband, sorry. So you like double it, and then with your double it again, and then maybe do it again and again, and then, yeah, you're probably gonna like not spend it all, but that's not really the point, right? The point is that you just have all that ammo on it. I imagine Michael McGlenn in the new box is gonna be able to play this card as well. I've always felt that Michael McGlenn was gonna have some sort of ammo synergy. It just feels like a design space for an investigator that would be really good, and maybe that'll be the case. However, they are pretty good, the design team, at coming up with surprising investigator designs that most people didn't call for that investigator. So I'm very curious to see what Michael McGlenn actually is whenever we start getting spoilers. Speaking of spoilers, there's been nothing actually officially announced for Drowned City, but in the same stream that this card was revealed, Duke did mention that there was going to be a new Taboo and FAQ coming very soon, as well as, I don't know the exact quote, so if this is, I'm going to try to dumb this down, like put it to the smallest scale that I can to not build up anyone's excitement too much. But basically, also something, a little treat for the community as well. So we can look forward to coming up in the near future an FAQ and Taboo, and then a little treat. I don't know what that treat is or what the scope of the treat is, but apparently he says that there's something else coming too. But I don't think it's going to be anything big or crazy, just to temper expectations. However, it's really cool to get our first card here actually from Drowned City, and I think this is a very flashy card to have spoiled first. Big guns are really cool, big guns are really fun, and I think there's going to be a ton of big gun decks that are going to be really cool to come out of Gatling Gun. And I imagine Bryn's going to cook up something pretty cool. I think Bryn's going to love this card. I think Bryn's going to really enjoy playing this in our Drowned City blind run. That's just my prediction. Thanks for watching, everybody. I want to just do a quick shout out to all of our patrons for supporting the channel. You guys all rock so much. If you're also watching on YouTube, guess what? You frickin' rock too. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, all that cool stuff. And if you want to go above and beyond, consider joining our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this quick little video, and I hope you, if you hadn't seen that spoiler, you're now excited for it. Have a good one, and as always, GG's.